There we go. There's a fish on the end of that point. Little spinnerbait bass. Come on, son. You ain't that big. Come on. Caught me a little spinnerbait and he choked that thing down. Wow, look at that. Little tiny bass. Roosevelt Lake bass, that is. You know, folks, I'm kind of killing two birds with a stone this week, as it's the last of the, before the cutoff date for our Wild West Bass Tournament. I'm out here just kind of searching around here at Roosevelt. The water's muddy. I've got all my rods on the deck here that I may use, may not use, but right now what I was throwing was the old Persuader American Angling spinnerbait, brand new spinnerbait. Check this out, great for muddy water with cloudy conditions. It's got a little chartreuse blade on the back and a little blue. You know, chartreuse and blue, whether you're throwing it in crankbaits, things like that, I'll tell you what, it's an awesome color, especially in the springtime. You know, the water temperature is running anywhere from 60 to 62 degrees, 63 degrees. The fish are moving up in the shallows. We're up in a shallow flat, the water's muddy, and what better pattern to go with than a bluegill pattern, which is basically what this is, for these fish that are moving up in the shallows. We got a little bit of breeze, a little bit of cloud cover. It's perfect. And I'll tell you what, we're just out here, haven't been out here more than 20 minutes, taking a few casts, looking at the lake, taking a look at everything. Cutoff date's here in a couple of days, and I just wanted to come out here and see what the lake looks like and how the lake level is coming up. The lake level's coming up. But it's muddy water. So, and there's nothing more I love fishing around these bushes in muddy water, 5 foot of water, 6 foot of water, you know, in that neighborhood, up all the way up to 0 foot of water is this spinnerbait. This is a brand new one made by Persuader Baits. What I like about this bait is not everybody has one of these in their tackle box. This is something the fish ain't seen. So I'll tell you what, it's an awesome bait. Now I have put a little grub trailer on it with a chartreuse tip on it. There you go. A little chartreuse grub, gives it a little bit more wavy action in the back, so I could have some more, you know, just a little bit more throb in the water, because any vibration, anything like that will work good in this shallow water like this and get those fish active and make them hit. Plus it looks like a little tail of the, if you ever look at a bluegill, the back of their tails have that little chartreuse tinge to it. So you're gonna find a lot of these buck bass probably up in the shallows. And what I mean by buck bass, and you've probably heard the term buck bass a lot by fishermen, is the little males start moving up in the shallows this time of year. And what they'll do is start making their beds and get ready for the spawn, and then they'll kind of corral some of these big females in to the nest. Now, there's probably some big females up as well, but in saying that, it's always good to fish the shallows early in the spring like this, because you just never know what you're gonna catch, because even the big fish will move up to warm and get up in that shallow water and start roaming around. So we'll throw this around a little bit. I've got all kinds of rods on the deck. We're gonna try them all probably before the day's end, and just kind of see what we can catch some fish on. You know, when I first come to check out a lake, you look for that search bait you want to cover some water with. The spinnerbait is one of the biggest baits, one of my most fun baits for this lake. It's a great search bait. It's something you can get up in these trees and in these weeds and throw in that shallow water and not get hung up constantly. And I'll tell you what, you know, once you find out what the fish are kind of doing, then you can stop, do a little jigging, do a little Cinco fishing, and throw them in these bushes. But right now what I'm gonna try to do is just cover some water, see if we can catch some bigger fish. If not, we're gonna change some tactics up and do what we gotta do to hopefully catch a few bigger fish than what we're catching. So we'll just kind of move down and see what's going on. There he is. That's a little bit better fish right there, folks. That's what I'm talking about, son. All right, come on, son. Come on. You're done. You're done. You're done. I don't want that in my hand. Had to let it fall just a little bit, folks. Fish is a little bit bigger. We made a move, and what we've done is come back into the Sally Mae area just as it starts to come in off the bluffs, right as it starts to go into the flats. Always a good place for those fish to start running into the shallows. always a good place. Got him. Got him. See what I'm talking about, folks? That's a lot better fish, too. Yeah. Got him hooked right up under the lip. I'm gonna have to belly. Well, maybe I can get this fish in. I got a big old meaty hook and he's got that thing. There we go. Look at that. Roosevelt Lake bass. That's soft, soft jerk bait. Let me tell you something. This happens to be a bass assassin. I like something just a little bit fatter, a little bit meatier. We've got those gizzard shad in here, and I'm throwing this on a 5/0 wide gap hook. Throw it on 12-pound test line. These Elite Series rods that Taipan makes are awesome. This particular rod has a fast action. It's a 7-foot medium action rod. It's an awesome rod for this application. And what I love about this rod too is the fact that if you notice, the guides kind of turn and they go up underneath the rod. The purpose of that, and look at the end of the rod, if you take a look at it, the tip of it is actually on the bottom. And it actually makes, you can make a longer cast with this. Not only can you make a longer cast, but what really sets this rod apart from any other rods is the fact that when you're fighting a fish and you're pulling that fish and it's pulling sideways, your rod blank is not tweaking from side to side, because that's what makes rods weak, is when the line is pulling on top of the rod, the rod has got to tweak to bend. And so as it's twisting to bend, that's what makes the rod weak. This doesn't allow that to happen. You're actually fighting the fish without the rod being in the way, right from the bottom, just like you would a spinning outfit. And oh man, that makes a big difference when you're fighting the fish. But here we've been throwing around. What I did was come to the main lake a little bit. I just wanted to see if these fish in the springtime, so many different applications you can throw at these fish. You know, we went from the spinnerbait in the muddy water, great place. The wind went calm on us. So I decided to pull out of there and threw a crankbait a little bit, didn't do any good on that. Now I'm working on this soft jerkbait in a little bit clearer water, shallow water, and see if we can't get these fish to come up. I've had a couple fish come up and look at this and actually swipe at it, so I slowed it down a little bit instead of working it so fast, and that's where I just caught that fish. But with this particular bait, you just want to throw it out there, let it sink a little bit, and make it look like a dying shad or an injured shad or something like that. They can't stand it. Their instincts automatically tell them, go get it, it's easy prey. You know, just a little twitch, pause, and you can see how the bait kind of goes side to side, and then it'll dive bomb, it'll come up, and it's that erratic motion that gets those fish fired up. You got to remember you got to allow the fish to turn with it when he grabs it before you set the hook. A lot of times if you're twitching it and he hits it and you set the hook right away, he hasn't had time to grab it and turn away from you. And that's one of the biggest problems people have with trying to set the hook on something like this. It's soft, they'll take it in their mouth. One thing that you do not want to make the mistake of throwing a bait like this is throwing too heavy a line. 10-pound test line's perfect. 12 if you're getting a whole lot of cover, but you want the bait to act natural. So you want the lightest line you can get away with, but still have enough for hook setting power. So, you know, if you want to go to a small fluke, throw 8-pound test line, that's fine. Using a spinning outfit. If you're using a bait cast outfit, I highly suggest 10-pound fluorocarbon line. It's perfect. The XPS from Bass Pro Shops is awesome line, and that's what I'm using. And I'll tell you, this is an awesome outfit with this Elite Series, but you have to definitely use limp line to get this bait when you give it slack, to give it that dive and that fall that you need. If you use too stiff a line, it's not gonna act as natural, and you're gonna have a tough time getting the bait to work right. Got that one. Oh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about, son. Oh yes. Come on, Moby. Oh, he ate that bait. He ate that bait. Come on. Go on, go on, go on, go on. Ah! Not really Moby, but he's Moby compared to what we've been catching. Ah. Yes, sir. Look at that bass, folks. Not bad. Little soft jerk bait bass. Love it. All right, buddy. I'm telling you, we've had quite a few bites. They've been a lot of little ones. Probably get by, and what you could do is go to a little fluke or something. You know, I'm using the big Bass Assassin. I wanted something kind of meaty, try to catch a bigger fish, but I'm getting a lot of the smaller ones biting too. And that reaction bait is fun, let me tell you. And what makes this bait so much fun, folks, what makes this bait so much fun is we can throw it up here in the weeds and in the bushes and things like that, because it's rigged weedless. So you can actually get up in there and catch some fish. And if you were to throw a regular jerk bait in there, man, you'd get hung. And let me make one cast in here. I want to retie, but I gotta cast up on this point. But if you were to throw an actual jerk bait in that stuff, you'd be getting hung constantly. So the little soft plastic jerk baits work great. Got him. Little Cinco bass. Oh, get out of there. Oh. Come. That's why you wanted to use some good line. Good thing I set the hook on that little guy when I did, because I think he would have put me in the brush and just gave me all kinds of grief. There we go. Came back into another little cut. The visibility is not quite as good as it was that last cut we were in, but lots of this type of weed in here, and great for Cinco fishing. If you love to throw a Cinco, look at this. It looks like line, that weed, but it's really just weed. You know, I've always talked about using that white nanofill, and I'm still a big advocate of it, because right there, I watched my line pop, and it's so evident with that nanofill. But when he popped that, it started running. I was able to set the hook right away, and it gives you an advantage. The advantage is when you first throw out there in a lot of this weedy type of stuff, and you get the pop, instead of guessing whether you got the pop or not, you can see it on that white line. I just tie a fluorocarbon leader on the front of it. But throw that Cinco out there, he pops it, you can set the hook and keep him on top before they start digging in and getting underneath the brush, and you're having all kinds of problems. I'll put a new Cinco on and see if we can't do that again. Got him. Oh, get out of there. Oh no, that's what you don't want him to get into. Oh, I think he got me in it. Oh no, I got him out. Oh my goodness, come on, little dude. Got you. Look at that. Little Cinco bass. Those little buck bass are moving up. Come on, buddy. Look at that. Little sight fishing bass, I love it. You know, I caught that fish on a little white craw. Great partners of the show, I have to say. Cactus Rent Outdoors makes this what they call a Thule shaker. And I love it. It's got a flat, it's a lead head, basically. If you've ever thrown a darter head, it's a jig head that's been flattened off on the bottom, so when it sits down there on the bed, it sits like this, little 1/4 ounce. and then the craw sits up like so. And they can't stand it. And I'm telling you, last year we had a lot of success here at Roosevelt with this particular rig. And if I find a bigger fish, then I'm gonna go to the big cactus wren craw, which is the canyon craw, and throw that big white one like I caught the 9-pounder last year on. But right now we're just kind of looking through. I saw a few little buck bass, so I went to the smaller baits. Sometimes you got to go to the smaller baits to catch some of these fish. So, oh, there he is. He's going for it. He's got it. Oh, he had it. And I lost the weight. I lost the weight. I'll have to retie. Watch this. That fish wanted it so bad, I'm just going to throw it out there weightless. That's what I'm talking about, son. Lose your drop shot and just throw it out there. Little cactus wren quail tail. Get out of there. I got him on 6-pound line. I got to be careful. I'm telling you, folks, that's a little bit better fish. Little buck bass. Come here. Come here. Ah, I got you. That was fun. I got my drop shot all hung up and I lost the tag in and everything, but I knew my knot was good because it broke right before the tag in because I cinched the knot too quickly. Little quail-tail scorpion worm gets it done, just a little weightless. You know, I'll tell you, I gotta be honest with you, a weightless worm is not bad. A lot of times I've been known to throw weightless lizards and just kill them this time of year, especially at home up in the White Mountains. But I'll retie this drop shot. We'll get it back all hooked up so we can get all our tackle back. But it goes to show you when they start moving shallow, you could throw just about anything up there and have some fun. That was funny. He darted right over there to get that bait. There he is. Right in the back of that cove where he's supposed to be. Folks, just get back in the backs of these cuts, make a cast, and didn't even see him. Just a little guy. Just a little guy. Tell you what, you can sure come have a lot of fun early in the spring when they're just starting to move up. Grab some Cincos. You've seen us catch all kinds of fish on different baits, and it makes it for a lot of fun this time of year. You almost can't do anything wrong as long as you're heading towards the backs of cuts. Remember that these fish are starting to move shallow now. Tell you what, I've had a great time on the show today. Until next week, I guess we'll start catching some big fish. I got an idea what I want to do. I'm hoping the fish move up for this big tournament I'm coming to. If they do, I got a couple days of pre-practice that I can come out and try to find some big fish. Till next week, we'll see you on the water. I'm Johnny Johnson.